Welcome back to Unveiling the Truth. We're your host, Nefer.
And I'm Nelly, and today we're going to be discussing the fun facts about marriage that you probably might not know.
Yep, so without further ado, let's go unveil the truth.
Alright, so before we get started, just like we start off everything that is good and holy, number 2 is going to lead us off in a prayer.
Alright, yes. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto, sicut erat in principio nunc et semper, et in saecula saeculorum. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Alright, so first of all, something we forgot to mention is that we have a new recording studio. Yeah, this is our new studio. Yeah, this is what we're going to be working. It's still work in progress. We have to remodel some things, put on some lights, get some stuff done in here. But for right now, this is going to be our new place. So yeah, hopefully that'll settle good so we don't have to go bouncing from place to place.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's beside the point. So last week we talked about don'ts in dating. So now we thought, well, we talked about dating, we might as well do marriage facts, even though we're not married. So what should we know about marriage? But this is what the church teaches. Unless there's something you're not telling us, Nefer.
Me? Something you're not telling?
Okay, Never, just call me out like that in front of everybody. Okay.
Oh, so you were admitting?
No.
So you didn't deny it.
Oh, that's true. I didn't deny it. No, it's not true. There,
Okay.
I just denied it. Okay.
Okay, I'll deny it too. I'm not married.
Oh, good.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, you start crying. I was literally doing that for 5 cents a day. We can save Nefer's broken heart.
For 5 cents a day, you're gonna pay someone to get married?
I didn't even think
Ay,
about
contigo,
that. Perdóneme. Okay.
Right.
So today we're talking about marriage facts that you probably didn't know. And these are really cool facts about being married and stuff like that. Now that you've officially made that commitment and you're married and you're officially one, there's so many more benefits you get to living life with each other and doing things, and you're just really helping each other get to heaven and stuff like that. So we're gonna go over them.
Yep.
So the first marriage fact, kind of like what I just said, is that after you get married, you're actually in charge of each other's souls. So a lot of people just think, you're getting married, you're going to live together, you're going to have kids together, you're going to live happily and stuff. But actually, when you get married in the church, you're also making the vow and covenant to help each other's souls get to heaven.
Mm-hmm.
So if that means sacrificing yourself, sacrificing something you want, sacrificing something with them, you have to help each other's soul get to heaven. Because think about it, when you get married, you become one. So you're one person. So why wouldn't you help your own soul get to heaven? So by helping the other person's soul, you're helping your own soul too. So once you get married, you make the obligation to help each other get to heaven.
Yeah, basically. So that's kind of stuff like, say keeping the commandments, right? Mm-hmm. So say I have a husband. A few years down the line, right? So say maybe I'll be like, hey, like, dear husband of mine, it's Sunday. Like, we should go to church.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe he was a bit, like, flaky on that before getting married to me. But because, like, I'm married, I'm like, hey, like, we got to do that. Or maybe he can tell me, like, hey, you should go visit your parents more because you should honor the 4th commandment. Like, stuff like that.
Yeah, counseling them.
Keeping yourself, it's like a spiritual accountability partner.
Right, yeah. Basically, and you can, like, counsel them when they're having problems and stuff like that. And another thing that this also ties into that I just not thought of is when you get married, if you marry a non-Catholic and you are Catholic, you can still get married, but it's actually on your soul to raise the kids Catholic. And if your kids grow up not Catholic, that's on you because you went into that marriage knowing that the husband or the wife wasn't Catholic and they wouldn't help support you. So therefore, the kids didn't get raised in the church because of you. So when you get married to non-Catholic, it's on your soul to raise them in the church.
Yeah.
That's
even if you're both Catholic and you get married, you have to hold each other accountable to make sure that you raise your kids
exactly
both Catholic, because that's gonna be on both of y'all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because some people are just lazy and like, oh, maybe we should just sleep in instead of going to church tomorrow. You gotta be like, boy, no. Okay, so the next one is when you get married, you have to be open to life. No country. So a lot of people think that once you get married that it's okay to like use contraceptives or not want kids and stuff like that, but no, you got to be 100% open to life. No contraceptives. If you get pregnant, you're raising that kid. And there's something that's natural family planning. Yeah. There's like certain circumstances where the church allows you to not have kids, like if
but it's not contraceptives.
Yeah, exactly. You can never use contraceptives. That's all it's
natural birth control, but it's not contraceptive.
Yeah, so natural family planning is where you abstain from having relations on the days where she's most fertile, basically. Yeah. And so what it is that you have to, it's only in certain circumstances, like you're too poor there would be you have like health problems, and like you can't you're poor and you can't physically like afford another child. So just like certain circumstances like that. But other than that, you can use natural family planning, but only under extreme circumstances. But outside of that, if you're both are healthy, both are happy, both just got married and stuff, you have to be open to life. Like if you have a baby, there's no like aborting it or anything like that. You have to be open to that.
And that's even kind of like something I brought up with my mom a while ago when I learned about NFP, where I was like, well, then in that case, being open to life, maybe a way of doing that could even be like, if possible, the couple should get married when the woman is fertile. Because that they're going to have relations to consummate their marriage. So it's like from the get-go, you're open to life and like intentionally trying to procreate.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the next one is that gossiping isn't wrong when you're married. Yeah, so if you're, like, say, gossiping between the two of you, like, say you come home and there's this one girl at work who just really pushed your buttons and you just...
triggered you.
Yeah, really triggered you, man. You came home to your husband, you're just like, this girl, she did this to me, she did that to me, she drives me nuts.
Me quiero jalar las greñas para no debería.
Yeah.
I want to pull her hair, but I shouldn't. But
yeah, exactly. So when you go home, so technically that's not gossiping. So if anybody else, gossiping is a mortal sin. You don't want to gossip about somebody. If it's to a certain extent, it's a mortal sin, and you don't want to do that. But as long as it's between a husband and wife, it's just discussing things. It's never actually gossiping because you're one person. So how can you gossip to yourself? You know what I mean? Yeah. So gossiping is actually not a sin. It's in between a married couple.
And even then, because it even ties back to being in charge of each other's souls. Like, say this woman comes in and is like, hey, I have a problem with this chick at work. And her husband's like, okay, well, then let me help counsel you through this, how you should respond, Or if there's a situation that can impact them both, can impact their marriage, or just can have a consequence on the two of them. Or, or like, maybe the guy's going through something at work, and then if he doesn't say anything to the woman has no idea what's going on with him, and so he's acting kind of different, and she has no idea what's going on. That could put a toll on her marriage. It's a whole thing.
Well, and then you could also, like, even, like, stop them in their tracks and be like, now, hold on, let's not say mean things about them. Yeah. So you could also keep their soul on track by keeping them from gossiping, like, just, like, on a rampage, and just be like, now, hold on, let's not talk bad about them.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and take the next one.
Alright, so the next one is that when a married couple.
Married couple. Like, we've already established this. Look at our video from last Monday. We talked about why it's important to do this stuff inside of marriage.
Exactly. So, having relations within the covenants of marriage is actually renewing vows. So basically this means, we also talked about this in the dating thing, where in the dating video.
In the dating thing?
No, I'm kidding. In the dating video, which is when a couple has sex, like, the first night, it's a consummation of their marriage, and they're basically making it official. And so the act of sex in itself is, like, sealing it, sealing the covenant. So naturally, if you...
Because you're saying, now we're married, I'm giving myself to you forever.
Exactly. So basically, when the conjugal act happens the first night and then happens repeatedly again during marriage, you're renewing vows because you're doing the same thing you did to, like, officiate the marriage.
So that means you don't have to do that big old ceremony once every 10 years and renew your vows. Like, people do that, and that's beautiful, but it's like you're doing the same thing every time you have relations with each other, because you're, like, saying, I'm married to you. I'm happy being married to you. I'm giving myself to you. God is involved in our marriage, because God is always involved in that part of your marriage, too.
Yeah, pretty much.
Last one?
Yeah, so... marriage is not legitimate if it doesn't happen within the church. Basically meaning that you can get married by law, but the only way it's actually going to be recognized as the sacrament or as a covenant
to God
is if you get married within the church. Basically saying you have to get married within the church. Like, it's still if you say you get married by law and you start living together and then you have relations, it's still considered having relations out of marriage.
Exactly, because God doesn't see you as married. He sees you as two couples. He doesn't see you as married. So
as two individuals.
Two individuals, sorry. Yeah. So he doesn't see you as actually married. So when you have relations and live together, he's like, these are two people who are living together and they shouldn't be living together because I did not witness them get married.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know this. So a lot of people who are married outside of the church, and when you think about it, it's so much better for marriage to know that you actually have that sacrament and that solid foundation of faith involved in your marriage and keeping your marriage together, rather than just a piece of paper that says, okay, I'm going to tolerate you until we get mad at each other and then throw this paper away. Whereas in a marriage, it's like solidified forever.
And then if you sign a prenup, oh my gosh.
And it takes an annulment to get unmarried because God witnessed it. He's not just going to unwitness
it.
Well, it doesn't take it apart. It makes it like it was never valid.
Yeah, it delegitimizes it. Exactly. So, like, the marriage never actually happened. Which an annulment can happen if it was, like, a dire circumstance, like adultery or abuse or things like that.
Yeah, and that's all within, like, the first, like, few years of getting married, because actually there can be like somebody cheating, like a husband cheating on their wife or wife cheating on their husband, but if it's after like 30 years, that wouldn't be a case for illegitimate, because your marriage had been legitimate all those years. So even if they cheated on you after 30 years, it's hard to be a case for an annulment because you're still married for 30 years. However, if they start cheating on you like a year or two after, then that's a really good sign to get an annulment, because you were barely married and he's already cheating on you. So that shows that he didn't hold up to part of the vows. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, so there's a lot of cool facts about being married and a lot of fun things about being married and stuff like that a lot of people don't think about, and these are just some of them that are like really cool to like think about. This shows like how important marriage is in our faith and how cool it is, and how even something like marriage, you can go down to small little details with it. Like it isn't just a married thing and that's it. It's like, no, there's a lot of detail of this stuff.
There's a lot of stuff going on. So yeah. Okay, cool.
So thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed.
Yes, and make sure to check out the links in our description and to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. And yeah.
God bless you. We're praying for you, and keep that fire burning.
Bye.